Hey, and welcome to the Sam and Max Devil's Playhouse commentary. This is for episode 3. I'm Chuck Jordan, the season lead.
I'm Mike Stemley. I wrote and did a little design on this episode.
I'm Joe Pinney. I did some design, a lot of design, and screwed up some of the writing on this episode.
Hey, I'm Andrew Langley. I content programmed half this episode.
I'm Dennis Lennart. I was a lead cinematic artist.
Hey.
Off to a great start.
Yeah, I know. Silence is awesome.
Oh, his face is getting creepier. Ah!
Oh, I want a doll of that, of Dead Max.
Or a hat.
Yeah.
It's a nice title sequence.
Max? Little buddy?
So one of the target things for the games that are from the comics that we always kind of wanted to hit in the games was the scene in Bad Day on the Moon when Max gets zapped by a fence and Sam is upset because that's one of the few moments where they drop the shtick and actually get poignant with it.
So,
and I think this season we kind of did it several times over.
yeah, I think that was about the second of about 4 or 5 of these Screaming No's. But then we get crazy, out of control Noir Sam, which is something we put a pin on very early in the season that we wanted to get to.
Yeah, we all knew we wanted to see Sam lose his shit, really get upset. Because of his little buddy, the one thing that would really make it unfunny.
Yeah, I gotta admit, when you guys first pitched this, I was like a little worried because I never seen Sam freak out and go crazy. I don't know if he ever did in the comics at all, or if he's always been kind of straight-laced.
Every now and then in the comics, he gets a little angry and at people, especially when he's compared to McGruff. Starts biting people and then gets really embarrassed about it.
Hey, look, instructions.
Yeah, we wanted to stretch Sam, and we weren't sure how it would work with the voice acting, just being angry Sam, but he did a fantastic job with it.
I think there's like a hint of it in the previous episode when Max gets turned into a cow, then Sam has a horrible like no scream, and it was after I heard that I was like, okay, so it'll be good because he'll freak out.
And everyone wanted to do film noir takeoff.
Yeah, I don't know. Did we know originally if we were going to have jacketless Sam, or was that?
No, that was actually an epic fight.
Yeah.
Props to Nick Herman.
Yes, big props to Nick Herman and others who pushed over time. Jake, too, was a big jacketless Sam advocate.
The animation on this guy is so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, actually, with all this opening stuff, all the Act 1 stuff that Nick did is super awesome. It's like some of the coolest stuff we've ever done, I think. And yeah, it was basically just Nick fighting for 2 months for just production purposes. I mean, there's so much real estate and everything in here.
Yeah.
That this ended up being the sort of the most polished, attentive part of the game, but...
Yeah, there's so much love and attention on this. Like, I love that scene. Yeah. It's so good.
The feel of it's dead on, and all the reference shots that Joe had up around his cubicle for a while seemed like they really got it. Lots of fog and headlights and shadows.
Yeah, getting that fog looking right was another thing we really cared about.
And someone thinks you might know something about it. Brain, huh? Well, I did see.
Mike, you want to talk about how hard it was to turn this dialogue into a dialogue puzzle?
Well, actually, this is, Joe and I worked on this for a while, making sure that we could do interactive dialogues that just kept rolling no matter what the player did. And once we were lucky that our tool had been recently upgraded to a point where we could make little snippets of dialogue flow nicely from one to the other, which made it a lot easier than it should have been, actually. And we just, between Joe and I actually working on it for a while, we actually, this quick. It wasn't that hard. I'm sure it was much harder for the guys implementing it than it was for us to design it. Yeah.
What was cool, though, is that it did, like, I mean, even I remember just reading the stuff like, just seemed, it was like, sweet, and we know exactly what we need to do, and it all just sort of worked. It's cool.
Oh, and who does the voice of this guy?
Yeah.
Myas.
Myas.
Speaking of people
How do you
who
pronounce his last
implement
name?
the game,
Fitzek?
I wonder what
Fitzek.
happens to the tourist next.
the bump map mustache is a creepy touch.
Yeah.
Yep, Myas of What Happens Next on Monkey Island fame.
Yeah, so what happens next on Monkey Island fame and intern at Telltale?
Yeah, did a bunch of cinematic stuff for this episode too.
Yeah, he did some fantastic cutscenes for the episode and is the voice of our tourist. Does a good...
So what direction did you give? Because he's not German, right? He's just sort of ambiguously
Vaguely European, yes.
For him, we just said, like, be yourself.
Yeah, because he
Because he
very
already has
often
that
sounds vaguely European.
Yeah,
versus,
sort of bubbly.
Did he make up those words? The
No,
European words? Or
that was all
Stanley.
Stanley.
No. Because
Actually,
I
that
wanted
took, there were many takes to get,
Ausgeflüge Bergen.
yeah, that one.
I love these
But
songs.
yeah,
So
so
good.
that's something I wanted to see in a game for years.
Yeah.
I'm so glad they finally did it.
I think I requested that while he was driving, he should be drinking from a dog dish. But it's maybe a little out.
Whatever happened to the Euro?
Establishing shot.
And
Yeah.
it's also
Nick had
another
to
fight for
fight
that.
for
Nick,
it.
Nick and Jake Rodkin win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was. I'm glad that got in.
Absolutely. Sense of place.
I love the animation of him slumped. I think I also wanted, like, I was hoping we'd have time to replace the entire intro title sequence of the scene to have a limpless, or like a limp, lifeless Max in the seat next to Sam during the whole title sequence, but there's just no way.
This is a Myas cutscene, right?
Yeah,
I think
That's
so.
right, this is a Myas.
It's pretty epic.
Lasers and magic spells in a planetarium.
Yeah. Apparently, Paperweight has turned into Doctor Strange at some point here.
Sam! Get me out of here. This whole place smells like gorilla and patchouli.
The realization of the brain and how he was going to talk and express himself, that was another huge back and forth evolution.
Yeah, we definitely raised the bar from the talking brain in the first episode, I think. Then people...
Yes.
What-
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the brain did involve, introduce a lot of complications, but I'll get that later.
Yeah, that was probably the hardest thing, I think, from...
Oh
That we
boy,
dealt
yeah,
with
he
for the
sure
whole season,
did. The
probably.
presentation, I think, came off
Yeah.
pretty well.
Yeah, it
But the
worked.
complications of having that brain, oh boy.
Don't blame me. I'm still trying to find the volume controls on this thing.
Yeah, just a few different expressions and then that little mouth.
Yep.
Go quite a long way.
Yep.
Yeah, for the longest time, I don't think his expressions changed enough,
Now I'm stuck
and
in
we
here
had
with
to
an
really
alliance of sea-list
figure out ways to bump it up.
Yeah, make it a
Way
little more radical.
worth fighting.
Normally, the code of the freelance policeman frowns on stealing ancient brains. Desperate times call for icky measures.
More brains.
Warm, folding, and wriggly. I don't know whether to be repulsed or use it as a neck massager.
Neck massager.
Oh, the
Good joke.
introduction of one of the breakout characters of season 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People love Sal.
They love Sal, and I'm very happy that when we asked for a voice, we got exactly the voice we wanted. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I read one review the other day where they do credit him as Patrick Warburton. Like,
Yeah. It's like, no. Even though Patrick Warburton did play the Tick, this is a roach.
That's Vegas Strip, right?
Yeah, it's Vegas Strip.
Right, he did a great job.
Who doesn't really look much like Patrick Warburton.
Incinerator. Yeesh, maybe this carefully preserved...
But has the best name ever.
Yeah.
drooling unnervingly.
Right up there with Kid Beyond.
yeah.
Oh, sound effects.
Hello? Anybody in there?
We had a hard time finding Summon Mac's voice.
Yeah, that was tough. Getting someone
No, but I get that a lot.
To sound like a 12-year-old pharaoh.
I remember when the trailer came out, so many people assumed it was the geek.
Probably
Yeah,
Max's
it's like-
sugar rushes.
Yeah, we're bringing in characters from entirely unrelated media.
Why not?
Return for rescuing our spirit from the shadowy
And
realm.
then we thought, Morgan Le Fay, of course.
Yes, well, we use Morgan Le Fay.
Could
And
use some help retrieving Max's brain from a couple
I can always hear the voices, the Caesarion from Rome.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Oh, right.
That was
And
the
once that idea
inspiration.
got stuck in my head, everything else sounded slightly wrong, and I think
Yeah.
Mickey Rab really nailed it.
Everything
Yeah.
goes as planned. I suppose you can take your pick between an ethnic sorcerer and a superpowered space gorilla.
So there's no donuts in this episode?
No donuts.
Very
Yeah.
well. We shall grant your boon. It shouldn't be too much trouble with all these toys of the gods secreted in this fuzzy little body.
Toys of the gods.
Secreted.
Do you have the
Yeah, I think we used secreted several times, and
My people always called it the curse of Horus.
Max always has his own little hammer space
yes.
If you've got
that we see later on.
powers, this rescue's gonna be a walk in the park.
Lighting wise too, this
Yeah.
Lead on,
this one, like
barbarian.
I think Derek really sort of each episode just took it to a crazier and crazier level, and I remember a lot of the stuff in this just looks so good.
Yeah, yeah. The atmosphere of the museum, just lovely.
Sam. That's it, Sam. Are you Sam?
No, my name is Tyrone. Sam's that guy.
Tis we! I've arrived at the world-famous Museum of Mostly Natural History. And look, a cute little animatronic.
Is this all the tourist abuse we managed to get into this
Yeah.
season?
Yeah, it's like
Oh, there is a little bit at the end.
Yeah, but we didn't.
since I only programmed this first half, I thought the tourist was killed just then.
Yeah.
Because it's
No, he
like,
goes back to be thrown into the gladiator pit.
Yeah, for a while there, he was the whipping boy for the entire season, but
Right.
he kind of scaled back on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
We didn't like
amazing
where
how
Dick was.
naturally he just was like, oh, he's the victim. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh well. Happy hunting.
that later became paperweight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, my body's walking around without my brain. How'd you work that out?
I found a loner in the creepy Egyptian exhibit.
The
Nice
thing that
guy.
always appealed to me about having Max's brain inside the planetarium, that it was kind of like
Figure out that we
our equivalent of the Meanwhile cutscenes in the Monkey Island series,
Yeah.
where it would just cut off where you could see what the villain was doing without him standing there telling you what he's doing. And speaking of what villains are doing,
Yeah.
Sam?
The brain.
You didn't stick the brain of a psychically gifted, unstable adolescent pharaoh in my cute little body.
Yeah, we also had to work out the mechanic of how you would switch between. You can switch between Sam and Mac and Max's brain in a jar and Sam, and figuring out a way to be able to go between all those three guys.
That's right. I remember you figured that out.
Yeah, because we only have so many buttons on the PlayStation 3 controller that we can use. Yeah, this is also pretty epic.
We need to build a better controller. No, I like
more
the PS3
buttons.
controller.
I'm gonna do Connect where you just make gestures. That's what I'm gonna do.
And then this is
I
my
love
this is my Watchmen homage.
That's right.
And so ends another mind-boggling mystery solved by the loping wits and the capriciously applied violence.
I always wonder what
of
people think
freelance
right now.
police.
Yeah.
What's
Who's
going
up for a
on?
sugar grenade?
What the hell are you talking about, Sam? I'm still a brain in a jar.
Don't be silly, Max. You've always been a brain in a jar.
No, I haven't. I'm a short, sexy lagomorph with
There's a moment coming up. I don't know if it's in this in this video, but when Norrington stops you and speaks to you from the sky, I put a. I was working on the next episode at the time, so I put a backwards dialogue from the end of the next episode. I never know if anybody found it though.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
From this point forward, those little things at the ends of your
Well,
shoulder.
now.
There's the giant feet from the teaser image of the villains for
Yeah.
the season.
Those feet end right above the
Foreshadowing.
camera line.
It's a good thing I don't wear shoes.
Sam, snap out of it.
Snap out of what?
Our first version of Sam and Macified New York was really quite like the original New York,
Ah, there it is.
and we decided it needed a lot more
See, there's
Egyptianification.
there's
Yeah, I think
backwards
that-
dialogue going on right
Your
now.
psychic friend.
The whole after Sam and Mac has changed reality, I'd always pictured it as a kind of invasion of the body snatchers thing, where
Oh,
Sam
there's
is
your
the only
brain.
one,
What am I gonna do? Leak
or I'm
it?
sorry, Max is the only one. Max's brain is the only one who knows that things are wrong. But that looked like that ended up being way too subtle.
Any rebels.
Yeah.
You will know them by their facts.
Yeah, and our
Now,
I think when we playtested it, people were I think a little disappointed at the look of the Egyptian environments because they weren't that. They were different, but they weren't that different. And I think after the playtest, Derek, our director, went by and really made things look pretty cool. I always had a Super Mario Bros. 2 vibe to it to me, and I guess I'm not the only one who thought that.
It was like in a day too.
Yeah, it was
I remember
quick.
one
Yeah,
day.
that was an unbelievably
yeah, and
fast
just next day I
transformation.
opened up the scene and it was everything was completely different. Wow.
That should keep busy for the next few hours. So are you a rebel or not?
Here's the return of.
I
Creepy
love
mole girl.
bringing back Mole Girl, Mole
Yeah.
Granny.
I love the old look of her. It's completely perfect. That's how she would look.
And she still has the coolest
Yeah,
lateral list.
I don't. Yeah, that's weird.
You never lose that, even without the retainer.
We speak of
The brain screw.
Ooh, pointy and dangerous. Two of my favorite things.
Bring the sacred weapon close to Sam and Mac, and we'll take care of the rest.
Bring the brain screw to Sam and Mac. Easy peasy.
So part of the complication with this that I was talking about earlier was, Max can either be a brain in a jar or he can be rhinoplastied into objects walking around in the world, and we had to figure out ways of making all of our animations work regardless of what the player was doing, and
Yeah.
it
That was
involved some-
unbelievably fun.
It involved. Oh god,
For
Best
strange
ever.
definitions of fun.
that was it. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, Dennis enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was
I
my
know he
favorite part.
I remember when you pitched that, I don't think none of us really picked that up as a problem, and then we were doing it. We were like, oh,
Hey, I got us a case.
oh.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Well, we
case
worked it
of
out.
Sam and Mac's missing brain screw.
Ooh, sounds.
And especially with the cloud, because the cloud was like up high,
Or you better get
so
used
we had to
carrying
bring them
the
down.
camera.
And,
Right, and keeping all those objects alive and real, and
yeah, and
who
looking
knows where
good.
they're talking from.
I'm glad that we threw in a lot of red herring rhinoplasty objects, though,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
You mean two?
It was only two.
Yeah, one
We
each,
cut some,
one each
though,
for each
didn't we?
act,
Yeah.
but it definitely made a difference. Ah,
Yeah.
this is a sweet one. That's another. I think that's a mice.
Yeah, it's mice. Whoa, is there a boom mic?
Watch
That'd be great.
Did anyone see that besides
No,
me?
that was
That
not
would
a-
be great. Yeah.
There it is.
I enjoyed
Alright,
it
maybe
as
that's
much
just
as the
a
next
little
brain in a
thing.
jar, but that seems really unfair.
It may seem unfair, little buddy, but it's the only way those stinking rebels will learn to accept Sam and Mac's righteous rule.
You're
It's like
creepy when you're
between the mole people and the tourists, and
Just shut up and
we like to
fight.
abuse certain characters.
The one thing I really like about this whole section
Let us see
that
what
was
you
part of
got.
Chuck's conception from the start was, for the first time, Sam is working. He's not on the same team, or not entirely.
Yeah.
And you got to cope with his different agenda.
Could have seen that move coming. Oh,
I got a note from somebody who was talking about that horrible bug they found where half of Sam's tie stopped rendering. It made me sad. His tie's been cut off.
Did you not play the game?
And this is all
Where,
Dennis right here.
where did the stars come from? Did you add that?
His final fight?
Yeah.
Ah,
is
that's
awesome.
classic.
And then we get our Star Trek 3 reference.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that Myas, like, at the very beginning of this episode, he was like, I get to do that part with cutting the tie, and that's all he cared about. And then at one point he got scoped
Yeah.
down, and then he was just destroyed, and then it got in at the end, which was great.
Yeah.
I think that made his journey worth it over here.
You will not submit our
See, that's the trick. You trick people into falling in love with things, and then
Yep.
you cut them, and
Yeah.
they do it anyway.
Yep.
It's very
Evil-
subtle
evil
manipulation
trick.
by the designers.
But effective.
When we
Good
think
job.
of Sam and Mac, we give a big
Oh,
Ah.
snap.
Oh
Brutal.
yeah,
Yep.
violence.
Nothing like taking the brain out of a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah, that's right.
What's this game rated?
He's only 10. That's all right.
Part of me did wish that his tie had stayed severed for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
But
Oh, that would have been nice.
So we always talked about,
then-
like, Tygon losing the hat. Like,
Yeah.
and at the end, he's just a broken
it's like our
Sam.
graduate goal was just to undress Sam as much as possible. I don't know what that
And
says about
that'll
us.
come, yeah.
Reverse Watchman.
And then it'll just get
Let's do the whole thing.
more
Don't worry,
undressed.
though. I saved the day all
This
by
may be the
myself.
first time I'm seeing
Even though
this.
I had my
Actually, I don't think
hands,
I've ever
legs,
seen
and
this
all
in
my
a cutscene.
internal organs tied behind my back.
Hey, nice work, little buddy.
Now hurry up and put my brain back in my body. This jar's starting to fog up.
That sound is gross.
Lovely sound effects.
And everything's back to normal.
Max,
Yes.
good as new.
Ooh, it's tight in here. All that demon broth must have fattened up my brain.
We'll get you on a steady diet of brain-shrinking reality shows tomorrow. Now let's stow this troublemaking toy box someplace safe before another delusional jerkwad gets his hands on it.
Is it unclear what happened to Paperweight right now?
Sam Sam is coming. Sam
Oh, there
is
he
coming.
is.
Sam is coming. You don't have to repeat yourself.
And besides,
That's-
I'm right here.
Actually,
Oh God.
This is just like that dream I had last night. I wonder if he studied for his finals.
why don't you ask them?
I love that line.
They called them a Rocky Horror Shorts for
Yes.
Jason Finley's idea.
Yes.
Oh God, it was such a good
Yeah.
idea.
Awesome.
Max,
Yes?
shouldn't I be waking up about now?
Were they just supposed to be originally be in diapers or something?
Shouldn't
No.
I be waking up now? a good question from a good dog. And one asking yourself even now, along with who is the ominous Dr. Norrington? How did Monsieur Papier-Waite survive for over a century? And
See,
what
this-
is the dealio with
the
all
continued
those
abuse of
naked
Paperweight.
slabs?
I'm good use of the word dealio. I think.
Word's not really used
in
enough
our
anymore.
next chapter. Until then, my friends, sleep well.
Ooh, foreshadowing. Your guide to quality literature.
Okay, and we'll see you for the next one.
Yep.